So welcome, Lorenz. Lorenz is the founder of Europe's largest online social network. And what is so special about your social network in the internet?
Well, first of all, the fact that we are the largest one in Europe and that it's localized to 15 different languages right now and turning in almost 20 different countries throughout Europe. We have 25 million members, almost 4 billion page views per month. And that's of course one of the first things that is very special about the site, that we actually adapt ourselves as a platform to the language of the user, the country of the user, to his own profile. So if the user is, let's say, 17 years old, he will see people from his own age group. He won't be seeing people from in their 40s or 50s. And we always go further and further in that, and also at the end show other profiles from users that are very relevant to the surfing user, to the member.
What happens to a 18, 19 years old boy or girl who maybe speaks English? I mean, your firm is from Belgium.
Indeed.
And Belgium is a multilingual country. How do you differentiate this language problem, which is very often a problem in big portals and in big communities?
Well, we had to make a very drastic choice there, and we isolated all languages. So for every language is one walled, around every language there is one big walled garden. So it is impossible for a user that is a native Dutch speaker to connect to someone who is French speaking. So we see that it's from most users, it's very much appreciated, specifically in this age group, 14 to 24, where their social life is actually taking place around themselves, around their school, around the place where they live, in their own neighborhoods, and maybe somewhere else also in the country, but it always stays within the same language zone. And that's the drastic choice we had to make, actually. What we are doing more and more, and what we will have finished by the end of the year, is that it is possible, so that there is a door actually in the garden to go to connect to other people, to connect to people that are speaking other languages. But right now, and it's also one of our keys to success, I believe, is the fact that it is isolated on the language level. And that it is personalized and localized to not only to the language, but also to the region where the user is living. Specifically, for example, in Germany, we noticed that it's a big issue if you have a German site, but you only have Swiss people in there, or you have a German site and you only have people from Bavaria. So for someone who's coming from Aachen, won't be very interested in this kind of site. The network effect won't start playing its role. Network effect, where the value for a user, or the usefulness for a user to join the network, is increasing by the number of users that are on the network, but specifically those who are in his own neighborhoods, because personally I wouldn't have a lot of interest in joining a network that is only has American users on there. So it's a drastic choice that we had to make, but it seemed to be the right one for Europe.
What is your experience in Europe? I mean, you have many countries where you have your communities. Which communities are very strong, or where is the demand for such communities very high?
We see that it's very high everywhere. For us, the most difficult market to enter is the United Kingdom, because there is a lot of competition in there, as you know. What we notice, for example, in Germany, that there is a high demand. Users are really joining up at very high rate, and we're seeing a nice growth there. But what we specifically, for example, about Germany is the fact that users think 25 times before they join, but once they joined, they stay. And this is different in other markets. For example, in Spain, we have a lot of users that join, and it's a lot easier to keep them as a user and to have a lot of retention. So there are a lot of differences in the space, but I think it's part of Europe, where you have so many cultures and so many habits and so many ways of adapting to a service.
Of course. And what is your experience? Do they also meet offline? Is your community helping people to find contacts in the real world?
Oh, definitely, and that's the basis of the whole service. Is to give a digital social extension to your offline life, and vice versa, of course, to meet people online that afterwards you will see in your real life. I think that's clear that that's the goal of the site, and that's why people are using it.
Just a final question is maybe a little bit private, but in how many communities are you yourself?
In how many sites? I think in a lot of them, because we have to see what competition is doing. Although I have to be honest, for us it's very difficult to see how your competitors are doing. So I'm not using them that often. But professionally, I'm using a lot of LinkedIn, for example, which is more or less the same as Xing, I think, in Germany.
And what is the final view? What do you think these communities will develop to? What is the future of these online communities? Will more and more people join these communities, or is it a thing that it will be saturated at a point?
Well, definitely more and more people will join, and at the end you have saturation. For example, in Belgium we have over 70% of the 14 to 24-year-old youths that we are reaching. Getting more is more and more difficult. So there is a level of saturation that is evident, because there is only a couple of million users in Europe. I think the future lays also within putting the platform on different devices. We're only online for the moment. I think more and more we see the opportunity of going mobile. More and more we see the opportunity of also going using set-top boxes and interactive television. It's a big challenge. It's not very easy. With the mobile phones, with mobile social networking, the problem is with the telephone companies, who are very protective about their service. With the set-top boxes or interactive television, the problem is with the fact that it's one screen for the whole family, so everyone is using the same remote control, and also there you have to think about privacy. But I think that's the next phase, where it's not only seen in the online internet world, but also in mobile. And we see a lot of demand from users also in that they say, okay, I was in class, I made a picture, how can I upload it? Or I'm sitting in the train, I want to write something, how can I let my friends know? But we have to find a way to do this cost efficiently also for our users, because it's very young people, and you cannot say, okay, we're going to charge you too much for that.
So we have many new ideas, and we'll be following what is happening on your webpage. Thank you for joining us, and we wish you great success with your project.
Thank you, you guys too.
Bye-bye.